You can take hits. I mean, and everybody did last year, but you have to kind of punch back the market and keep going forward, keep pushing, keep growing. And so it's been an interesting journey having a full-time recruiter on staff to keep us, you know, keep people that want to win winning and they can handle the obstacles of the market.
We're a growth company. In today's episode, Courtney and I sit down with the lead agent, Chris Castanza. Chris and his team are consistently the top of the company every single year of the company he represents. He's going to walk us through his evolution and how his organization now consistently writes $300,000 in premium month after month after month, and they constantly are looking for ways to grow, improve, find the best people for their sales organization. With that being said, let's start the show. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. We are your hosts, Michael and Courtney Weaver, and today we have a very special guest with us, Chris Castanza, baby. All right, so Chris has been a guest on the Buzz before. We're bringing him back because he's consistently one of the top agents in his company year in and year out. And I want to know, what are you doing to consistently crush it, baby? So that's what we're doing today, Chris.
Yeah, glad to be here with you guys, Michael, Courtney. Great to be here again, part two, man. So always fired up, always excited to talk to you guys. And, we're just trying to get better every year, So it's always a competition.
That's right. It's fun competition. It's always keeping you on your toes. So I want to lead in with, because right now, the industry over the last 18 to 24 months, I feel like it's been, a lot has happened. All right. Needless to say, technology increasing, rates, claims going wild. And so are there any pivots that you've currently made within your business over the last 12 to 18 months to help your business to continue to excel through what some are considering a really tough time in the marketplace and the industry?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, for sure. We've had to double down on a couple of things, right? We had to double down on training. We had to hire a full-time recruiter to help us keep people in front of us, keep people engaged. We kind of have a phrase of trying to hire people that, fit our value system, that have good values, they have good skills, and they have good aptitude. But we use a little phrase called, they got to be happy for opportunity, they got to be humble and coachable, and they got to be hungry for pay for performance. So that's kind of been our big focus, is hire a recruiter to put people before me and my sales trainer, Joe, and to constantly keep us in front of people that want to win. And it's like, you can take hits. I mean, and everybody did last year, but you have to kind of punch back the market and keep going forward, keep pushing, keep growing. And so it's been a interesting journey having a full-time recruiter on staff to keep us, keep people that want to win winning and they can handle the obstacles of the market.
So you actually brought a recruiter like in-house. You're just not working with like a third-party vendor?
Right. We got a full-time recruiter in-house, and we've had one for last year, and it's been real helpful. So we every week we get to see, 30 or so interviews, applicants, and it kind of keeps our team fresher on, like, hey, we're looking to, bring in people that want to compete. We're looking to bring in people that want to hustle, that are happy for an opportunity. So it changed our culture a whole bit versus just hiring when we want to or hiring when we need to. It's let's hire all year round for people that want to help us have profitable growth. So that's been a big shift for us.
I want to dive into that position because I've never heard of anyone having a full-time recruiter, and I think that it is genius. But my question would be, what does their day look like? How do you set up their day?
Yeah, it's a great question. So for me, it's they're set up with, being on Indeed, LinkedIn. They're setting up first interviews to kind of screen people. Hey, are these people worth, obviously a second interview? Do they fit our culture? What's their values like? What type of skills they have in the past? What are they? And then we take them through the happy, hungry, humble. Are they happy for the farmer's opportunity or opportunity at our office? Are they hungry for pay for performance type of opportunity? Are they hungry, in a sense of, like, do they have that type of personality that wants to win and compete and actually strive for more? Or are they looking just to be taken care of, right? Different people have different appetites. For me in the sales industry, you got to have somebody that's competitive, wants to win. So they do that. And I'm also kind of training them to also kind of train and onboard new staff. So it's kind of like, sometimes we flex. When we're overhired, they go into more 50-50 training and coaching and onboarding and consulting my sales team. And then when we're low on staff for new hires, we have them recruiting more. So they'll try to set up 30 interviews. Maybe we get 10-second interviews out of that. And then maybe we'll bring 3 or 4 people into a third interview process where we make a decision. So that's a little bit of our process kind of scaled down, but it keeps us fresh.
Are they doing all of the interviews, or when do you hop in?
I'll hop in on the second and third interview. So I'm not talking
Okay.
about it in the first interview. I want them to kind of screen them. I have Joe or my other outside sales leader, and I have an inside sales leader. So I like them to come in with me on the second interview and see if they have a good feel for them. And by the third interview, sometimes they'll just hire them directly, or I'll jump in on the third interview to make sure that we're bringing people in that want to win.
Hmm.
So that's like an HR position, essentially.
Yeah.
Like they're doing all the recruiting, they're getting them onboarded, so they're making sure all their paperwork's in, their licenses, making sure that they've done all their corporate training, things like that. Am I understanding that
Correct. Yeah,
correctly?
there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, the whole process, if you're not bringing somebody that's already licensed, there's a lot of work to get people motivated to get licensed and appointed and through the carrier networks. And it's a full-time job at a certain amount of premium. You could probably do part-time at a certain amount also, but for us, we're at a size where we want to grow. We can afford it.
Hmm.
We need to afford it. I personally can't do first, second, thirds at this point in my career all on my own.
Nor should you.
Yeah.
Nor should you. So, all right. So and I know, so this is fantastic.
Hmm.
This is also new to me. I don't talk to many agents. I don't know if I've ever talked to
I
an
haven't either.
agent
That's
that's
why I was
ever
like,
done
let's
this.
dive into this.
So this is fantastic. And I know what you're really focused on right now that you shared with us before the episode got started was developing sales leaders within your company, because you have a goal of consistently producing $300,000 to $500,000 in premium a month at a minimum. So I would love to know what that transition
Mhm.
has looked like, whether you're bringing in outside talent, what you're promoting within. Just kind of walk us through that process and that mindset.
Yeah, so we've had a guy that's been with us for 7 years. A guy named Joe Sargent. He's been great for our outside sales team. He just loves to train and help people sell, and he's been with me for a long time. And so he's kind of like my right hand guy for outside sales. And we have a lady named Rochelle that she runs our inside sales team. So it just so happened that sometimes on our team, and she was one of these people that she was identifying a lot of weaknesses and problems that we had. This is but maybe about a year ago, 6 months ago. And I said, well, hey, do you think you can solve these issues? Or, do you just point them out, that kind of question. And
You gonna help me out here? You just gonna show me where I'm dropping the ball?
exactly. Yeah, 100%. You know how that goes. And frankly, she said, no, 100%, 100% confident, 100% I can solve these issues. I just need to be freed up to do it. I said, all right, well, I'm going to give
Yeah.
you a quarter to show that you can do it. And, if you take over, you can be, kind of the acting manager of the inside sales, and we'll try it out for 30 days, maybe a quarter. But after 30 days, you don't get to complain about the problems anymore. They're your problems, they're our problems now. They're not problems for somebody else. And so she understood that, and she's really thrived in that role. And just the clear expectations that she knew, hey, in 30 days, you can't complain about these things anymore. You got to fix them. Now they're your problems.
Okay, I want to dive into this just real
Uh-huh.
fast because I hear of business owners promoting within. So did you remove her sales responsibilities completely, and her only job role is to coach the team and get them going skill level up and managing to those expectations? What does that look like?
Yeah, she shifted into primarily that. I would say that's 80% of what she does. She still sells some, but that was our goal is, hey, like, let's start to develop an inside sales team that is actually focused on doing 10, 11 reviews a day. And let's try to get to 10 to 15,000 in new business commission just from our inside sales team. Right. And so whenever she took it over, they were averaging maybe 3 or 4,000 a month in new business commission. It was not very good for our size agency, the inside sales, customer success reps, CSRs. Right. Last month she got us close to 8,000. So that's been after 6 months, she's doubled our new business commission. And I think we can keep putting people with her. That's the confident trend for me is like, oh, we can keep hiring people in your position, because I always call them, the people managers, they have to be people that can multiply themselves into people, and they have to maximize people's potential. So I say you're a multiplier and a maximizer. You got to multiply who you are into them, and then you have to maximize who they are in their potential. So she's done a great job of that. And we just got to see consistency from her. She's only done it for maybe 5, 6 months. So, and we've doubled our results. And so we give her a base plus, as that team grows, she makes money on that team income. and it freed us up to move people that were not really great at service into other roles. So she's been a real asset to our team.
So can you break down just like her top 3 responsibilities, like the problems that she brought to the table that she immediately was like, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna fix?"
Yeah, she felt like there was a lack of buy-in in the culture, right? She felt like there was just a bunch of CSRs that were there, that there wasn't a culture, there wasn't a community, there was little training going on, and just to be completely honest with you guys, I'm an outside sales guy, right? I'm a marketer, I'm a sales guy. I've never been a great inside sales guy. I've never been somebody that answers the phone and cross sells. In my entire 9 years of history, I've always been out doing referrals and networking, marketing, events, and then internet leads. So it's always been like you know, a secondary department to me in some sense. It's not been my first love. But I've
Mhm.
changed that this last year to making it equally important and equally valuable. And she felt that and she identified that, you know, it felt like a second class citizen. And so
Mhm.
I had to really shift how we do business and say, look, we're going to strengthen this and we're going to, build a culture, build a community there, build that friendship amongst those people, give them rewards and promos just for what they do. And, for me, it's always those three things is people, numbers, and culture, right? She wanted to build a culture. She wanted to get people to buy in, excited about what we're doing here at the agency. She wanted to help bring in more people that wanted to win, people that wanted to grow, people that wanted to think, like she did about what we could do for people. And then the numbers, like it gave me somebody that was paying attention to those specific numbers of what is our inside sales team doing for our agency's revenue and how are they helping our retention and how are they helping our cross sells. And so that was a big shift for us this year.
So she doubled your inside sales new business commission, and she did that in 30 days? Is that
She
what you
did it
said?
about a quarter, about 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So what are the things that she is paying attention to aside from culture? Is she looking at pivots? Is she coaching them in the moment? What are her roles and responsibilities? Because what you are saying right now is gold. And there are a lot of agents that are looking at service and going, how do I maximize this? How do I maximize my current book of business when the market is so tough to acquire new business? So I want to really like dial in on what does her job responsibility look like so that somebody listening can go, oh, I have that position and I just need to give that person more ownership or more
Yes.
empowerment in their position.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's responsible to get everybody on that team. We got 5 people underneath her. Everybody's got to be trying to go for 8 to 10 reviews. They're pushing for 30 to 50,000 in premium or more, right? They're pushing for live cross sells. But the idea is that it's not just a service position, but we turn service calls into reviews and turn those into sales, right? And so
Yeah.
she's somebody that knew she had to get people that wanted to win, wanted to compete. She likes to compete with the outside sales teams. Hey, we could outperform them. Um, so for that, you have to have somebody that buys into your culture, your winning, a performance mindset. You have to have somebody that understands that sales is service and service has to lead to sales. And so she is somebody that I didn't have conflict at a business level. She understood it's not just, hey, sending out ID card. It's not just responding to a claim, but we have to be a full service agency. And with that understanding, with mutual understanding, it led to a place where we could say, okay, we can share leadership with her. We can share, more responsibility with her. We can delegate and ask for more. And so she knows that that's what we're gonna be asking for every quarter is, hey, we're a growth company. We're gonna be asking for more each quarter, more people, better culture, and then more numbers in your sales. So she's not only was she like-minded, but she was also willing to look at every day what's my team doing in my premium per day for each producer. She's willing to look at that every week and she's willing to challenge people. Hey, you can do it and you can hit these goals. And you gotta have somebody that doesn't cause friction for you. You gotta have people that sometimes managers, they will come to a business owner and they'll be advocating for their people, almost like they're you know, an employee advocate. My people need more, they need less stress, more money, more bonuses, more blah, blah, blah. And, for me, I need leaders that can advocate top down, advocate to the team about the opportunity, advocate about their potential, advocate about all the promos and benefits we already do provide these people. You know what I mean? And so not just sending, you know, the message uphill, but also communicating
Mhm.
and advocating for what the leadership's trying to do downhill, and agreeing and
Mhm.
elevating. It's every leader and manager on my team. In sales, we call it the agree and elevate. Like, you have to agree, build the bridge, and then elevate people's thinking to get the sale. Well, management and leadership has to do the same thing for people that are their direct reports, people underneath them. And sometimes that's more challenging than selling an insurance policy, right?
Mhm.
So, and then I have to agree and elevate them. If they get into a rut or they get convinced by one of their team members that something's not possible, I gotta challenge them and align them to what we know is possible.
So how do we compensate this position?
So this position is base plus a certain amount of the new business commissions from their inside sales department. So they get a good base plus, and then every time they grow it, right? So if they grow it from 5 to 10,000, 10,000 to 15, 15 to 20, they're going to see sizable increase in their compensation plan year over year. And there's no reason why, if she's doubled it in 4 months, there's no reason why we can't keep staffing up and keep doubling it. Because
Right.
we get a lot of inbound calls every month, you know?
Those are opportunities.
And
So good.
you said there was a lot of gold in there, right? A
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
nuggets right there. But you said one thing that I want to revisit that I don't want to go overlooked. You said we're a growth company, and she gets it, and everybody else gets it, and expectations are always trending up. And I don't want that to go overlooked or even not heard, because I think so many times in business, and I fell into this rut to where we just lay the expectations from day one, and those are the expectations for the next 3, 4, 5 years. When in all reality, when someone continues to hit those, we get someone to those expectations. I believe that if you do not increase the expectations, you're actually doing yourself a disservice, them a disservice, and your company a disservice. Because if you're a growth organization, you should always be trying to push it to that next level, which it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing. So, hey, here's the expectation now. But when we consistently hit these expectations, we're moving the bar up, baby, because we are a growth company.
You nailed it. You nailed it exactly right. And if you don't do that as a leader, you'll eventually stagnate and plateau, right? That's the guarantee. You can either grow or you can stagnate. And you're right. If everybody on the team says, "Well, I'm doing this now," it's like, "Hey, when you hit these goals," I tell my team this every month and every quarter. When you hit these goals, we're gonna celebrate you. We're gonna reward you. We're gonna, celebrate you forever. Maybe it's a day, maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, but then we're going to come back and ask for more. And the reason why we're going to do that is because we're a growth company. And so if you tell people that you're hiring day one, and then you reiterate it at your staff meetings, then all of a sudden people, they accept that, oh, I'm in a growth company, and they feel good about it. They're like, oh, good, they're going to ask me for more, versus the mindset of, oh God, enough's never enough. When is it ever gonna be enough for the boss? He's always asking for more. It's like, yeah, we're going to celebrate you. We're going to ask for more. It's not the enough's never enough mindset. It's that we expect you to have different skills at 6 months than you did at 60 days. We expect you to have different skills at 5 years than you did at 2 years, right? Like, if you're not growing your skills with us, we're going to be trying to find people that outperform you. Like, we can't win if we don't keep recruiting people that are, actually wanting to win. And there's no stagnancy in the sales business. You have to hunt and kill for today, right?
Culture of excellence, baby. We either getting better or we're not. There is no in between.
Exactly. Yep. And that's tough
So
on
it
some
sounds like,
people,
yeah,
but you
It
end up
is.
it,
having,
it really is.
they end up exiting themselves from the business though. So that's kind of the good, the people that's tough on, they end up leaving.
Yep. Expectations are automatically going to show you who wants to be on the team and who doesn't want to be on the team. So they're going to self-select themselves out. And let's face it, this type of industry is not going to be for everyone, and it's not going to be for everyone potentially even long term. And that's okay, because the skills that they're learning throughout their tenure with you are providing them a better opportunity in the future, regardless if they decide to grow with you or a fork in the road and they make a decision to go somewhere else. Either way, they've learned a ton of skills along the way.
Hmm.
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. I really do. I think that's one of the benefits that people, when they leave here and they get all the leadership training development, they're always better off. Even if they're trying to go find a little bit more of a comfortable, slower pace
Hmm.
environment, they're still better off.
I want to dive into what sounds like you as a CEO. It really sounds like you have set up your agency to where you're the CEO, you have your inside sales leader, you have your outside sales leader, and you have a full-time recruiter. So talk to me a little bit about what that looks like from a meeting standpoint. And then what are the expectations that you have of yourself and that you're communicating with these three people?
Right. So for me, my number one goal all the time is to always be keeping my top people engaged and growing and, kind of being a servant leader to them, right? Keeping them growing, happy, flourishing. And then number two, it's always recruiting top talent, right? So it's kind of even though I have a recruiter, that's part of the reason why I have recruiters. I need to be the person that's always, as a CEO, you have to be thinking about who's the best people I can get to help me win, and who can help me drive these different things. So we got the outside sales, inside sales, then the recruiter, but then we also have our specialists, right? People that do commercial insurance, health insurance, life insurance, and financial services. We got three guys doing that. And I look at each one and I'm like, man, we can grow our commercials so much more than we're already doing it, right? We can grow our life and financial services so much more. We can grow. It gives me the ability to be in the skybox, to use the football field analogy and look what's going on and say, hey, what's going on with my offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams, and see what is it that we need to grow and push on. And there's seasons of profitable growth. There's seasons where I want to take home more money, be more profitable. And there's times when I need to just cut back and grow a certain line of business. And those ebbs and flow, right? Ebbs and flow. So that's what our meetings look like is that obviously we got this from you guys, did the morning huddle, midday huddle, right? So that's something we got from you guys, and that's keep our people engaged. I do a weekly staff meeting where we do promos and giveaways and celebrate top performers. And it's usually 30 minutes. Sometimes we go for an hour, review where we're at in the week. And my team loves that because we share something from books or motivational stuff. And it's a fun, once a week event, right? Uh, and then obviously we do our inside sales and outside sales meeting where we talk to these leaders all the time and keep them sharpening each other, keep the competition between them pretty strong. And so I have to have a good relationship with my top 5, 6, 7, 8 people and keep them happy and engaged. And that's what I like to do. I haven't talked to a client unless they're a financial services client in, a long time because I look at my team as my most important clients. These are the people I got to take care of the most, and they'll take care of my other clients.
What is it, Richard? It's either Richard Branson or Richard Bronson that said,
yeah, Richard Branson. Yeah, Virgin Airlines.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you take care of your employees, your
yep.
team, they'll take care of your clients.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I love it, man. So I want to dive into something real fast though. The specialist role. So just real fast, is this something you've done your entire career? Or is this something that you have advanced to or changed throughout your career?
There's another change the last year or two, right? So we have certain metrics and goals we have to sell for commercial insurance. So I have a guy on my team who's fantastic, a guy named Devin Wilson, and he's been great at just driving our commercial sales. And it's one, he does many things for our team, but it's one thing he does really well is working with our commercial team. And so he took that over a couple years ago. And then recently last year, we got the time where like, hey, we need to go expand our life financial services. Like, let's see if we can get this to being 10, 20, 30,000 premium a month versus just sometimes we hit 10, sometimes we hit 5. And so we got a guy on our team that does great with that. And we're trying to expand that, we got to do a lot more than that. And then we have a guy that does our health insurance. So he does our, Medicare coming up, Medicare season, does our group health and individual under 65 health. So that's, those are our things we need to grow. Those are just beginning, like, we have a focus on them, but we need to grow that the same way we have our personal lines.
So I want to ask you, so that's something that you didn't do at the beginning of your career that you have done now as you're more tenured. If you were to start all over again today, 2024 going into 2025, would you start with a generalist model or would you start with a specialist model if you had the finances to do it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that for me, I've always tried to hit whatever carrots they're throwing out there, right? And so we're in a season in our carrier where they want us to hit our prime score, which is a combination of all those things, live, commercial. I had a goal to hit President's Council the first year I was eligible, right? So you're not really eligible in my company for 3 years. So, some of these people are not eligible for it. But they have a hyped up bonus program on home and auto. And so if I just had a hyped up bonus program on home and auto, that's what I'd focus on in my first couple of years. But then once once you start wanting to get to achievement clubs and beyond, you have to diversify. And the moment you begin to diversify, you begin to realize this could be a business in and of itself. And so, especially if you're hitting those goals, you're like, yeah, that could be a business. This could be a business, and it's a business within a business. And so I wouldn't start off right away with that if unless they were throwing major bonus money at diversity points.
Hmm. Okay. That's a great question. I love, go ahead.
No, it is like a cupcake analogy for me. It's the agency, like you're still paid on PNC, like that's still your cupcake, and everything that you put on top of it, whether it's health, life, whether you specialize in commercial, all of that, that's how you get to decide what you want to decorate your cupcake with. But insurance agents are still paid on PNC. Like that's how you eat, especially in the beginning. I have to figure this out, because if I can't figure out the PNC conversation, life's going to be much more difficult. So I love that analogy of like chase however you get paid first, figure that out. And then once you have more experience, decide how do I expand? And those become their own separate businesses as well.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. Like, I love how you just put that, because as an agency owner, business owner, the PNC, but then you have different businesses within a business. You have your life business, you have your health business, you have whatever, your commercial business. And I love that you are diversifying like that, to where if the PNC personal lines market does get hard, or it continues to get harder, maybe in the state, they're just like, I'm shutting it down. You still have other silos of the business to rely on. And that's extremely important in the type of market that we're currently in. So Chris, man, this has been
so good.
Fantastic, brother. You have any last words before we get off here?
Well, always good to talk to you guys. Always good to hang out with you guys. But, last word is stay positive, stay positive, stay hopeful, stay confident. As long as you're recruiting top talent, working training systems, people will get the systems that they create. They don't come by default, right? And so you're going to get, the system. You work great systems with great people, you cannot help but win and achieve the goals you want to do. And it's something I'm always focusing on. It's like, I need great people and I need to keep refining my systems. Like, it's not something that I can ever just assume we've got it and we're good. So and you guys have sharpened me on that over the years too. So I appreciate all you guys are doing and keeping these fresh podcasts, and I'm looking forward to hanging out soon.
I know, we should have done this in person. Could have done it on the boat.
That'd have been fun. That'd be
No doubt. That's a great idea. Chris, if somebody wanted to follow you, connect with you, work with you, maybe they want to legitimately work with you, like what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, shoot me a Facebook message. That's sometimes I'm on there, Facebook, or you could text me, but that would be or they could email, right? So Costanza@farmersagent.com. Or Facebook's probably pretty easy. Just go on there and shoot me a message and we'll get back to you.
Perfect. All right, brother, man. Thank you so much for today. For all of those of you listening right now, thank you so much for your time, your attention. As you know, they are by far the most important assets that we all have. Go out, make it great.